keep going, and I'll try and figure it out another time.
Yeah. Let me see. All right. So I had saved these topics from like a week or two ago. There was one, oh my God, it's so sad, but this could correlate into many things. We can tangent our way up, tangent our asses off. So, men with double lives. What do you think that means? Secret agent
Well, I have to imagine you're talking
or
about
a
like
superhero?
men doing like not cool things.
Yes, definitely not cool things. Freaking cheating ass mofos. So the reason I thought of this is I kind of want to know why. I'm trying to figure out, and along with you, like why do people, specifically men, do this? I'm sure women do this too, but it is more,
Well, yeah.
what's the word? It, I, I think it's something that we see men do all the time because back in the day it was like, so basically what I'm trying to get at for those listening
Mhm.
is men with a secret family or another wife while
Yeah.
with a girlfriend or two families type of thing.
Yeah, I
So
mean
there's
it's typically seen as like a male thing,
yeah,
whatever testosterone, machismo, or just being a male.
yeah,
Like unfortunately, it's usually associated with having more than one girl, or being a womanizer. Like those are traits
yeah,
typically assigned to men.
yeah. So this video, and I'm just gonna try to say it as quick as possible and kind of truncate it and
Hmm.
hopefully not butcher it. So this woman, it was like on a page on IG where she didn't vlog it on IG, but it was on TikTok, and then this page found it. She basically was hyped to go see her man, surprise her at this, at her job or at his job. She
Hmm.
was vlogging the whole thing, and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to see my man. Blah blah blah. It's his birthday. Blah blah blah. This and that." And next thing you know, and she's super hyped. She's super hyped, and she's like, "I'm gonna go stop by my sister's real quick." And when she called the place that her at this would be her boyfriend. When she called him, the woman picked up, and she was the wife. The woman was found out that he was two timing, but she's she felt fine because she was like, but she did cry at the end of it. She felt fine because she was like, hey, look, at least I'm not stuck with this person. She felt bad for the wife because the wife is with him the whole time. And then depending on what your beliefs are, either do you divorce him or do you stay with him? You know, it's crazy because I feel like a lot of these things happen where you're a truck driver and you're traveling across the country and you can get away with these things. Um, but to me, and I always like to follow the what my mom used to say, and it always stays in my brain. Like when I was younger, growing up, my mom says, "If you're lazy, you work harder." And if the guy is doing, he's working super hard to keep these
Hmm.
two families. To get caught, now you're just this. It just comes down in shambles.
Yeah.
So like my thing is like, why do people do this? Like I know back in like the old days, men would go out and be like, "Hey, I have to be out for 3 weeks." You're just living with another family at that point. It's like my thing is, how are you getting this money? Like, what kind of job do you need to get this type of money to
Well,
just
I
be
have
going
to
back and forth?
believe it's something like maybe, and I might be completely off, but it has to be something like like addicts will find a way to get the fix.
Yeah,
You know, if you're leading that double life, having two families, cheating, having a mistress, girlfriend, whatever you call it, or it could be even like you having these two lives and like maybe you're closeted and like you feel like you can't be who you are, um, like maybe you're actually gay and you're like you leave a double life because you don't think that you can come out
I
for
didn't think
whatever
of that, but
reason.
that's true. So
That
you're living a life with a woman, married, kids, but then you like, I want to be, I actually need to be a man, and that's the thing. Like, not to say hey guys, you should be coming out, because we're not at that level yet, because people, old heads or family members still can't handle the fact of someone being gay, especially in their own family. So I didn't even think of that, but that's true.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So I mean, it could be anything, but yeah, it's what one thing that my mom actually brought up a number of years ago. I don't remember what the topic was, but it or how we got on the topic, I should say. But it came up like talking about like men cheating and stuff, and most of the time it's not because of like lack of love, but it's because of feeling like you can't do anything else. So it's almost as if you feel trapped. So
you mean the person you're with, or
no, it could be with anything in life. Like if you feel trapped in your job, if you feel trapped in a situation,
oh, okay.
if you feel
So it's
trapped
like,
in the wrong relationship, if you feel trapped in the wrong body, like all these things, and
yeah,
then you use that other part of your
because
life
you
to
have
kind of,
control over that.
yeah, to get control or to live that out. Like it's truly just to kind of like switch up and like feel free, like so not so
Mm,
over encumbered by whatever your normal life is. So
yeah.
there's a lot of psychology behind it, but um
Don't get us wrong, guys. If you're listening, there are assholes out there that just want to cheat just to get their
well, yeah,
dick.
there's
That's
also that. Yeah, there's
there's
also
that.
like
Like that happens, but we're not trying to psychologically science this away. People are men, women. They just want to cheat just to get their dick and vagina wet. But
yes,
like,
that is a thing. People
but
will
there
just
is that
cheat.
other factor where they have to, again, they have to take control of something because their job sucks, or they're in this
Yeah,
thing that they're in this rut that they don't care for.
but no, yeah,
There are
there
people
are
that just want
people
the
that will
thrill of
just because they yeah they're the thrill of it. Yeah, they want the thrill. They want to have multiple partners. They feel like they need to do all these things or to be this certain way.
And that's the thing. Like, if you feel like, let's say for me as a black man, because I feel like even black men, and it is, and I don't think it's just a black or a person of color thing. Every race cheats,
Hmm.
like no matter what it is. But the reason I say person of color is because you don't really see this. But I forget what, and you may correct me, what belief system you in the U.S. where you can have multiple wives. Why don't you just convert? If it's too weird to you, why do you go around cheating when you can legally go marry multiple women? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why go out of your way to cheat on one person? Where to me personally, and I kind of get, not to get super into this, because in the short film that I wrote, and I was talking to a group of people, actually another podcast group that interview us about the idea of cheating.
Hmm.
It's kind of like my mentality on this is like, I don't. I would say I would never cheat. You could say never, but I feel like with my moral compass, I don't want to hurt that person. If I don't want to be with that person anymore, I'm like, look, I'm done. Like, I don't want to be with you. Um, and you tell them why. And that's the thing about any relationship. Communication is key. So, like, I can't really imagine me saying this to Gabby, but let's say it's just like, I don't like you anymore, blah, blah, blah. You did this.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I don't want to be with her because I want to be with that girl. Because then it's like, that is only a momentary thing. Because that girl would, what if she's whack? And if this is purely carnal, it's like,
Well, you're talking
then what's
about
the point?
like for lack of
Now,
better words, that's the post nut clarity, right? Like, yeah, if you're gonna be
exactly,
doing that, you're just always gonna be thinking, the grass is always greener. Like, you're never
exactly,
gonna be
exactly.
satisfied.
And that is like my thing. Like, if you're gonna cheat, like, first of all, well, not saying if you're gonna cheat. If you don't want to lose her, don't do that thing. I
Yeah.
know there's this thing of sex addiction and blah blah, but then it's like, you're there's a lot of things that's come with that. You gotta be able to talk to someone about it, because if you're keeping it to yourself, you're gonna continue cheating. Um,
Very true.
what's another thing? Like, yeah, so like in my personal thing, I'm like, and then look, there's nothing wrong with just hoeing around, men and women. Like, be
Yeah,
honest,
if
be
you want
safe,
to search
and
for yourself, go for it.
yeah, and it's just like you can do those things, but like my thing is, and then I say this, my thing is, do not lie.
Yes.
Fuck around, just don't lie. Because then if you're lying to this girl because you're just trying to hit it, she got a fat butt, and then you're just like, yo, I want to hit it. Oh, I want to marry. I want the kids. And then you just go around cheating. You just wanted to get an extra body. Then it's just like that. Now you're fucking. Now you're pulling out that fuck boy card. Like you're
Well,
just
yeah. Now
lying.
you just like you're being like the basis of it would be like you're being
Yeah,
inconsiderate. Like you only care about
you're
your need and you just don't care about what you do. You don't care how it affects the other person.
yeah,
Like yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing your thing, going out there, men or women. Like as long as everyone's on the same page, like then there's no problem. But if you're out there and you are willingly, knowingly hurting people emotionally or physically, that's not cool. You can't just do
yeah,
that,
yeah,
And same thing with me. Like I could not imagine a world in which I'm like, hey, to Erica, to my wife, there's not a thing where I can imagine like, hey, I don't love you anymore. I'm done. I'm out. Like like I don't want to be with you. Like I could never imagine something like that.
mhm,
And on top of that, like one, I would never. She's one of the people in my life I would never want to hurt or disappoint. But
mhm.
I could never live with it. My
No,
own
yeah, and
moral
that
compass,
means
it would I think I would like get sick or something. Like I don't even think I'd
yeah,
be able
yeah,
to carry that with me.
yeah. And it's not, and it's like not to say that your head is screwed on right. It's just you actually have compassion.
Yeah.
There are people that just don't care. They live selfishly. Like to me, and I don't like using the word evil, but then there's good and evil, and there is nuances. There are nuances, and I do believe in nuance through and through, no matter what the
Yeah.
situation is. But when it comes
There's
to
always a
just
gray
like
area.
it's when it comes to just like cheating is like I'm not trying to sit here and take a stance. I'm just you shouldn't lie to someone. Like I believe there's such things as a good lie, and then there
Yeah.
are evil lies. Like there are all those things, but it's like if you're just hurting the other person just to get a quick nut, it's just like that's mad selfish, bro. Like
Yeah.
so much energy could be put in like into other things. It could be done constructively. Um
And you know what? There's so many other, especially in the digital age, there's so many other ways to get that nut if you really need it.
But then people can argue it's not the same, which I
I
understand. And then it's
guess.
like, and then I'm like, okay, if you're living between two worlds where you're like, and I saw someone post this today actually, and I've heard this mentality where it's like, oh, I'm living between wanting to be in a relationship and being single, but then it's like, then you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just like, I'm cool to have sex with people, blah blah blah, fine. But then now my problem is if you're with someone and then you start doing these whole bag things and well not whole bag but cheating, it's like, do you care about the person? Like it's just there again. It's like why are you doing this? If you to my honest and I'm not a therapist, but my answer is you just want to be single and fuck around. To me, it's that simple. But then again, it goes to what you're saying. There could be other things and going
Yeah,
on with this
there's
person.
all these things are learned, number 1. Like this isn't something that you're instinctually born with.
Oh,
Um
100%.
people can say, there is science to the fact where like technically speaking, like humans aren't meant for like monogamy, and that like comes from like our DNA and from like evolution and stuff like that. And fine, but at the same time, like there are people with open relationships where this thing works, right? They have one constant who's the person they love, and then they go around and they like are able to have other relationships. For me, I could never wrap my head around something like that.
If Gabby was getting 5 bodies a day type shit, and I only got one because of just pure luck, I again, I'd probably first of all I'd feel guilty, and then the fact that she's just people just fucking getting, I wouldn't be able to handle that.
Yeah,
For other people, fine, but then know yourself, and that's the thing. That's the thing to me. Look,
like just knowing who you are.
yeah, because it's like for me, I know who I am. Like and I'll throw myself. Well, I don't want to say that. I'll be vulnerable rather, not throw myself. I'll be vulnerable. I haven't been in a relationship, or I've never been in a long term relationship till I met Gabby. I
Yeah.
have been with someone before her, but I haven't. been in a long term relationship, and she was my first. And I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
Um, and it's funny you say that because I was talking to my friends a couple of weeks ago, probably 2 3 months ago. We were having breakfast. We were just all talking. It's just a guy. It's a group of guys.
Hmm.
And I say to myself, I say to them, I'm like, look, I know like most of us have our problems, blah blah blah, and we got to work on these things. But I said, like, just know what you want. Like, again, like, let's say I went and cheated. That already just screws up my relationship with me and Gavin. That would also screw my mental state.
Oh
So the
yeah.
way I see it is like, I messed up this thing. I don't want to screw with my passion. My passion is one of my first loves. So if I mess this up with Gabby, then that just messes up everything for me creatively. The love of my life, the career that I want is just going to be in shambles because I don't basically I just mess with my money the way I say it.
Yeah.
I just mess with my money. It just screwed me up. Because that's where my head is at. I won't be eating. I'll be malnourished. That's just it's just gonna hurt their soul. People have a thicker skin because they can do these things, and it's like fine, but then you're just evil. You're just being considerate. Um, but again, know what you want. If you're unsure, have that conversation. Talk with your friends. Maybe you can't have that conversation with the person you're with, but talk with your friends. See
But you
what they
also
have to
owe
say.
it to the person that you're with. Like, if you are unsure, that's
Oh yeah,
like,
you definitely talk to that person too. But if you know talk, but the thing is, you have to talk it out. You can't just live this double life
yeah.
and then just do these things. And I'm like, I'll figure it out. Because there's always loopholes in everything. There's
Yes.
always loopholes. You'll find a way to cheat, even if you didn't like you. It's you're just lying to yourself at this point.
Yeah.
Um, for some, like for a lot of people, it's just again, I knew what I wanted. I knew like I have a dream. I'll die for that dream. I'll keep going until like I stop moving. But I got a partner. I got that. So
Mm.
it's like now I can just focus on my thing. Not saying I'm gonna stop where concerning myself with the partner, but it's like I have a partner. I can move forward.
Well,
Some people don't.
you could
Yeah.
say that, you got your partner, but your partner has taken, like, has become so integral to your life that if
Mhm.
that was to get messed up, the rest of your focuses would be messed up as well.
It would just crash. It will
Yeah.
crash and burn.
I
So it's
mean,
one of
for
those
like
things
for
where
me, really quickly, like, when, even like, not saying that anything was wrong, but like, even being away from Erica, like when she was down here in Florida for those couple months before I came down, I felt like crap. Like, I was in shambles. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. I wasn't eating. Like, I would
Mhm.
just sit at a table for hours and just like stare at my phone, like without eating or drinking, nothing. Like, it was a
Yeah,
depressive state because a part of me, like, this person that I've built this relationship at that point, it was like 6 years.
yeah,
She was effectively my other half, and I felt like I was living without a part of me because she was
yeah,
so
yeah,
far away. So
yeah.
yeah,
And
these
not to say,
connections,
yeah,
your partner becomes so integral to your life, to your everyday being, that like when something's off with them, there's everything is off with you. You know?
yeah. It is, and yeah, and not to say it's easy to find someone. I just think it's like you need to be, and I always, for however you believe in Will Smith, whatever you believe in Will Smith, uh, I always take this lesson. It's like you should be bringing your happiness into the relationship, be it marriage or just together. You shouldn't be like, that person makes me happy. That's all I want. Because then
Yeah.
it's like, what if it stops working out? Then you're just crashing and burning while this person is living their best life. Like, God forbid something happened between me and her. Not because we cheated, it
Yeah.
just didn't work out. At least I still have my thing. I still have what makes me happy, blah, 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 this and
Yes.
that. And for her. So it's like, I think people should just be living their best life financially if they're trying to find that, if they're trying to find their passions, be it archery, swimming, whatever. And then comes along this person. It's like, okay, cool. I like this person. They become your like one of your best friends. Like they're there with you. Now to jeopardize that, it's like, I'm gonna just I actually don't want to be with that. Like at that point, you didn't know what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't. And then again, I remember in my one of my psychology. It was the sex. It wasn't sex ed. It was a psychology class, but it was a sexual. I forget the title of the class, but it dealt with sex in all its meaning. There's
Mm-hmm.
the triangle where it's intimacy, communication, and I want to say sex, intimacy. Yeah, I think those were the three things. And it says you can't live with two, like you can't live with without the other. It has to be the perfect triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you can't do all three, then it's like if it's just purely carnal and that's the reason you're with that person, then that's not gonna last.
Yeah.
It is gonna it sparks will fly in the beginning. Again, they call it the honeymoon phase, but it's just like then the real stuff happens. Once the real stuff happened, then you're asked out.
Yeah, you got to
And then
find someone who's like, and you know what? Erica was actually has said this not so long ago. Um, you have to be able to fill the cup of the other person. So like,
literally that's what I believe in.
yeah, like, and it's hard, you know, and it's gonna ebb and flow throughout life. There will be times where your cup is full and the other person's cup is full, and then you'll have these eras or moments of joy and everything's going well. But there will be times where your cup runs empty or their cup runs empty, and it's, you know, you lean on that other person to fill it for you. You know,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily, you know, putting all your eggs in one basket and letting your happiness be driven by this one person,
yeah,
but being vulnerable and intimate, you know, in your relationship, not just physically intimate but emotionally, mentally, like having that connection and allowing that person to fill your cup emotionally. Make sure that like they know like, hey man, I'm doing terrible right now. I really need your help on these things. And even sometimes when you can't say it, you know, if you're with someone with the for a long time, they can pick up on different patterns and behaviors and stuff, and they'll know when to step in. Well, they, you know, in a perfect world, they should know how to step in and be like, all right, you know, I'm gonna help you out here. You know, you need to have that balance of one, like Jay was saying before, like you need to have your own thing, your own identity, so that you can garner happiness for yourself. And then when you do that, you're able to fill your cup. And then, you know, if it's in the cards for you to have another person and you meet that other person, you know, realistically speaking, they should have those things for themselves so that they have their own individuality, their own personality, and their own happiness. And then as life ebbs and flow, you can fill each other's cup appropriately. You know, when you're down, they know how to fill your cup and vice versa. Filling the other person's cup in reality is the essence of a good relationship. And in order to fill that other person's cup, you need to have something there. If you
yeah.
don't have anything there, if you're too unsure with yourself, what you're doing, who you are, then you can't properly, you know, care for that other
And
person.
it's also fine to have doubts too. Like, when I started
Oh yeah,
dating Gabby,
that's normal. That's a part of
I
life.
had doubts, but it's just like you start having those conversations with yourself. It's like, what is the positive? Like, you naturally do the positive, the pros and cons, and it's just like if the pros outweigh the con, like it's something that again you have that conversation with your significant other, be it man or woman, and either sexes or gender, however. I'm not going to get into all that, but however that
Have
goes.
yeah, however your relationship's structured.
Um, but one thing too, like, and I'm not going to say this person's name, but there's two people that said something akin where it's like, and it's basically the same thing. And when it comes to like interests and stuff like that, like for example, Gabby does not like the same things that I like. She'll be, I guess, like, oh, that's cool. Like for example, like Marvel comics, anime, all those things. She's not into that. It would be dope if she was, but it's just like my thing is liking to share something, like introduce them to something like that's like my thing. Like if she was into that, I'm not saying it would have not lasted, but then at some point there could be some sort of staleness. For me, you said about the filling of the cup. I believe in that she fills the blind spots. Like, not saying that R&B music was is not good, but like I listened to some R&B back in college, not as much. Now I do because like she's putting that, that's there, and I get to get to explore that. There's a lot of things I'm exploring without her because of her. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So she's the other half that I'm like that. I don't want to say completes me. That sounds very, very cliche, but she's just giving me knowledge while I'm giving her knowledge.
Yeah.
So basically, what I was getting at was what some guy, one of my coworkers, this was a while ago, and someone else said something similar, where it's like, oh, my ideal girl was just she needs to play games, blah blah blah, and watch, and it's like, yeah, that's cool because one of my closest friends has his wife. They play games. That's great, and I'm not knocking that. That's a relation that can still work. But if you're looking for that, that means you're not happy with yourself, in my opinion. Because then it's just like, why do you already do this? Like, for example, you're one of my best friends, so it's like I can talk to you about nerdy things all the time, but I don't. Why would I need to find someone exactly like that to be with that person? It's just like now, like imagine if that was the case. Let's say I did. I feel like that might pull me away from you. Like I want to be able to grow in all these things. You know what I mean? So then it's
Well, at
almost like,
that
oh,
point, I feel like you're dating yourself, and when you date
exactly,
yourself, there's no, like you said, there's no room for you to grow because it's all you're gonna be
exactly,
living in an echo chamber, so
yes,
you're gonna be
exactly.
stagnant. And some people, listen, some it works for some people, but
It does. Like for when I use the example of my friend with him and his wife, they're completely different people, but they like the same things. And like that to me still works
mhm.
because they're different people, but they like the same things. Now, if you're going in because of their interests, that's now, or if you find that they're not interested in things, then it's just like, then that's not the person for you. So then at that point, don't become a fuck boy. Don't try to just hit it and be like, oh, I want the wife and kids and all that thing just to hit it. Like, so then you find out, oh, like they don't watch movies or they don't play games or like they don't like anime. Then it's just like now you're just picking and choosing. Like, yes, there is the perfect person for you, or there's the person that just makes you feel whole. So again, I don't want to sound like man wishy-washy and all lovey-dovey, but it's like all in all, like if you're gonna have this, if you want this double life, depending, well, no matter what it is, specifically if you want more women or more men, I don't know if it works for the more men part because I can't imagine a woman having multiple guys and them not fighting it out in a freaking room with one stick kind of a thing. But I know in, is it Mormon? I think they
I
can
think
have
it's
more
Mormon.
than,
Yeah, you talk about the multiple
oh,
wives.
if you're a
Yeah,
guy, convert to that. Have your multiple women. Like it's, yeah, I don't know if you can just convert. I don't know the poly side when it comes to that, but convert to that and just have your women. And if you just want to fuck around, do it without lying. It's I don't want to say it's that simple, but it is
it
that
like
simple.
kind of is though. You know what I
It
mean?
no, and it is
It's
because
like
it's
just
it's
don't
easy
be a
to
bad
lie.
person.
Yeah,
It's
and then
really
look,
easy to not be a dick.
oh my god, it's so easy to be nice. Like it doesn't hurt to be nice.
It doesn't take anything to just not be an asshole. Like
Unless you feel
truly,
like you're paying somehow to be nice.
I
If you're
guess.
paying a soul, like if the devil needs you to be an asshole, then I guess do it. But
But yeah, I have to imagine that's not a thing for most people. You don't have to give up a piece of your soul to be nice. But yeah, no, being nice costs nothing, and it's the easiest thing to do. And if you want to be a good person, it's simple. Sometimes it's not easy, but it is simple.
yeah,
It's you don't have to overthink it a lot. Just don't act selfishly.
in fact. Oh, and then also like if it's not a cheating and lying thing and you are having an issue, like I think you should talk to someone. Start with the partner, start with the therapist. I can't be just touting this out because I it's not like I talk to a therapist. I'm not perfect, but I'm just don't feel like I'm at that place. Anyone can talk to a therapist at any place in any point in time. I just don't. I'm not that I don't do it. I'm just not there. Um, not trying to promote therapy, but at the same time promoting therapy.
Yeah,
And
I'm
there
someone
you go.
I've definitely benefited
Yeah,
from therapy.
yeah.
I'm medicated right now for my
Straight
I
up high.
it's
Straight
no,
up.
definitely not high. It's technically like it is an antidepressant, but it's not a major one, and it's like it's more so to regulate the levels of serotonin in my body.
Yeah,
So it's brought on from depression and stuff, and anxiety. But it's honestly speaking, anyone could benefit at any time from therapy.
yeah.
If you are a perfectly healthy human being, you
Which
can
is
go to
doesn't
therapy. You can go to therapy and you can get something out of it. It's something where my family has always been a big proponent of therapy. I kind of pushed it away for a number of years, and then finally got to a point where I got sat down by people that I love, and they were like, "Hey, your way is not working. You need to figure out a different one." So I was like, "All right." So I went to therapy for a number of months. I got medicated. It's definitely had a very positive effect on me. Um, it's a thing that people should look into, especially no
Even
matter what the issue is. Like if you
yeah,
really are feeling like you live in that double life and you need to be out there, doing your whole thing, and cheating is the big thing, right? That's what we're talking about. Um, if you feel like you need to be doing that, then there's something wrong.
yeah,
Like if you feel
yeah.
like that is a necessity, you need to talk to someone.
For those Parks and Recs fans, even Chris Traeger needed a therapist, and
Yes,
he's was a perfect human.
he was the perfect human. You know, you can't get caught up on, like, I don't know. It's a hard concept to kind of put into words, at least for me. But you can't get caught up on like what could be. I think I think if you're constantly thinking about what could be, or
Hmm.
what is possible, or like how your life could get incrementally better with this shortcut, that becomes a problem. And that's in a
Yeah,
lot of areas of life. That is, family, relationships, careers. If you're constantly trying to figure out the easiest way to do something, the easiest way to satisfy any
that's
type of urge or any type of want, if you're looking for that easy way out, you're only going to run into problems.
yeah,
If you're willing to have, and I'm a person that I can admit having willpower is very hard for me, right? Having willpower, having that discipline, you know, it's hard. It's a learned thing. You need to learn how to do it. Every person is different, but you need to learn how to control yourself. And you need to learn how to do better. It's
I
not
want to say
impossible.
control. Control seems like a strong word. I would say discipline seems like a better word, like you said before.
Yeah.
Because when you say control, it's like it's very like restrictive. Like
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want to be restrictive. You're
you
right.
want to, yeah, definitely like what Justin's saying, but it's just like, for example, like things change. I'm not even married a year yet, but things change. I'm not saying like things won't be perfect, but my goal is to not hurt the person that I love, right? So if I can do that without, like, let's say we don't make it, and then at least I didn't hurt her in the way that she doesn't deserve to be hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, no matter what it is, separation in whatever form, it's not a good thing. But as long as you're not actively or not actively, purposefully hurting the person behind the back or not, it's just that I think that to me is key. Um,
for sure.
but yeah, discipline is key. Like again, focus on yourself. Like that's why I think in our last well, in one of our podcasts last year, um, when we were talking about the new year. I don't even make uh, resolutions.
Resolutions.
I was going to say revelations. The book of Revelation, the end times. Yeah, I don't make those. I think I follow this, and that's why I feel like anime raised me in many ways. As the character in Naruto, Rock Lee, it was like a one episode. It's very like not that notable, but I guess it stuck with me. It's just being stronger than the second. Every second, you're getting better. You're getting better. You're getting better. So I'm like, I just always want to chase that dream. I spoke to a person at work today, an actor, which pretty dope. We'll talk off air on that. And I told him I haven't said it in a long time, but when I said it, I was like, wow, it's been a while since I said it. Like my dream, my goal is to be a writer director one day. And it's like I have to keep going to go for that. Um and again, for those that are, again, I'm not saying all this is easy. I think what's easy is that you start searching, no matter how small. Start searching for what you want to do, or what do you want to. If you want to be the housewife, you want to be a kept man, kept woman, or fine, make your go make that your goal. Like, be happy, be healthy, basically, right? Be happy, be healthy.
Cheerios.
Um,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, be
yeah,
happy,
shut
be healthy, man. It's the best way to do
cease
it.
and desist.
um, yeah, and you know what? And just to quote another anime, you got to go beyond plus ultra. You know, you have to, and I guess maybe because my head's been swimming in the My Hero Academia pool right now. Um, a lot of the main characters have that goal, right? Some of them struggle with attaining and figuring out the goal that they want. They're just, if anyone can hear,
I,
executive producer Brownie has just walked in. Um,
I thought
but
it was
one of
a
the one
grasshopper
of
for a second, and then it was like, oh, that's a bell.
one of the biggest thing for a lot of the characters is figuring out that goal. Some of them have it from the beginning, right? Their goal is either to be,
The chase.
the strongest, or to be the most revered, or the best that they can be. They want to help people as much as possible, and other characters really took a long time trying to figure out what they want to do. Is this for them? Do they want to be a hero just because it's being a hero, or do they have a goal that they're trying to attain? And they surround themselves with people that are trying to attain their goals as well, and it helps everyone kind of move towards, upwards, right? It helps everyone kind of progress in their own way. But you have to figure that out for yourself, figure out who you are, what you want, why you want it, and then remind yourself, like, just to get incrementally better day over day.
And I kind of want to say one last thing. When it comes to writing stories, one of the things that I always have these questions or this thing. It's like there's always the character. You're gonna chase what you want, and you won't know what it is, but you'll get what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So
For
chase
sure.
what you want, and the thing you need will show up, and you'll know when that comes. You just won't see it.
Yeah. And eat a
Ladies
lot
and
of
gentlemen,
Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios, to be exact.
yeah. I mean, if you like frosted, I like frosted Cheerios.
I don't mind Frosted Cheerios.
So sweet,
You know
sweet,
what? I
sweet.
actually might have some cereal before I go to bed. Now that we're talking
I had
about
some
this.
cereal earlier, so I literally rushed home just so I can have cereal. And then because me and Gabby spoke about what we're gonna eat, and because she were like, we're just gonna because I'm gonna record and she has to do something for work. She's like, I'm gonna just put this soup on the pot, and it was like lasagna soup, which is pretty dope if you ever get your hands on it. And I was like, oh, I just really want to get some cereal first. And she was like, okay, go ahead. And I was like, I ate it, and but I had to wait because I didn't want to like eat that and then eat the lasagna. It's
Yeah.
such a weird mix, so I had to like give it a little thing. So yeah,
But,
I don't want cereal, but I gotta save it.
all right, guys. So I think we've broken down and solved the topic of people having these double lives. So with that, we are going to wrap up the After Dark segment, and we will see you next time.
Folio do because it means two.
That thing. Bye.